All right, we're back, and hopefully you had a second to check out all the playlist, and you understand that attachment type. I think it's going to be related to what we're going to do next, which is to take the sexual attitude scale. This is not one that is in your book, so I thought it would be worthwhile to go ahead and administer it here live. So, if you can grab a piece of paper or something like that so that you can complete the scale, we can do the questions and then I'll show you how to score it. All right, so on this scale, the following statements reflect different attitudes about sex. For each, select the response that indicates how much you agree or disagree with that statement. Some of the items refer to a specific sexual relationship, whereas others refer to general attitudes and beliefs about sex. Whenever possible, answer the questions with your current partner in mind. If you're not currently dating anyone, answer the questions with your most recent partner in mind. If you've never had a sexual relationship, answer in terms of what you think your responses would most likely be, like we're basically getting at what your value system is or what your attitudes about things that may at some point in your life become relevant. So you don't have to have had a sexual relationship in order to answer these questions. All right, this is the scale that we're going to use to answer all of the questions, and it'll always be at the top, so you can always refer back. So all I want to orient you to is that you do have, the 1 means that you're agreeing, and 5 is meaning that you're disagreeing, which might be mentally kind of for me, that's backwards, but that's how the scale is designed. And then I also wanted to point out that you do have what's considered a true neutral on this scale. So if you literally are like, I don't know, it's equally, could go either way, you are free to pick the neutral. I would encourage you, since you're doing this in the privacy of your own home, if you're trying to really get some insight into how you feel about things, whenever possible, try and pick, a 1 or a 2 or a 4 and a 5, and try and stay away from the neutral, because that makes your score less interpretable. It'll be harder to find yourself in a particular category. So that's my advice on taking the scale. All right, let's get going. So number 1, my partner and I have the right physical chemistry between us. I'm going to go ahead and just read them, and you can always pause me if I'm going too fast. 2, I feel that my partner and I were meant for each other. 3, my partner and I really understand each other. 4, my partner fits my ideal standards of physical beauty or handsomeness. Okay, just a little note on taking this scale. Like I said, you don't have to have been in a relationship in order to answer this, but then here we are asking you questions that makes it seem like you need to have a partner right now to think about. If you've never had a romantic partner, think about, would you expect that you would have a partner who fits your ideal standards, or are you willing to have a partner that doesn't? Like, that's kind of what we're getting at, right? So it's okay if you've never had a relationship to just go ahead and substitute in what you're hoping for or what you would be looking for. 5, I believe that what my partner doesn't know about me won't hurt him or her. 6, I have sometimes had to keep my partner from finding out about other partners. Now, I've had students in my live class say, do you mean I currently right now have multiple partners and I'm keeping that a secret from my partner? Or do you mean I don't want them to find out about people from my past? And I'll say, I don't know. I didn't write the scale. So you decide what it means. So we're using the scale as it was designed. All right, 7, my partner would get upset if he or she knew of some of the things I've done with other people. Again, I don't know what done with means, so you can insert. 8, I enjoy playing the game of love with my partner and a number of other partners. 9, our love is the best kind because it grew out of a long friendship. 10, our friendship merged gradually into love over time. 11, our love is really a deep friendship, not a mysterious, mystical emotion. 12, our love relationship is the most satisfying because it developed from a good friendship. 13, a main consideration in choosing my partner was how he or she would reflect on my family. 14, an important factor in choosing my partner was whether or not he or she would be a good parent. 15, one consideration in choosing my partner was how he or she would reflect on my career. 16. Before getting very involved with my partner, I tried to figure out how compatible his or her hereditary background would be with mine in case we ever had children. 17. When my partner doesn't pay attention to me, I feel sick all over. 18. Since I've been in love with my partner, I've had trouble concentrating on anything else. 19. I cannot relax if I suspect that my partner is with someone else. 20. If my partner ignores me for a while, I sometimes do stupid things to try to get his or her attention back. 21. I would rather suffer myself than let my partner suffer. 22. I cannot be happy unless I place my partner's happiness before my own. 23. I am usually willing to sacrifice my own wishes to let my partner achieve his or hers. 24. I would endure all things for the sake of my partner. All right, so that concludes the questions. You can go back, make sure you've got answers to all the questions, and then come to this part where I'm going to show you how to score your scale. All right, so the questions you might have noticed had kind of clusters of themes, and that's what we're going to be summing up. So if you look at items 1 through 4, they were kind of similar to each other. Go ahead and add up the scores that you gave items 1 through 4, and that's going to provide your score for the Eros scale. Items 5 through 8 are going to make up your Ludus scale. Items 9 through 12 will make up your Pragma scale. 13 through 16 will make up your Storge scale. 17 through 20 will make up your Mania scale, and 21 through 24 will give you your Agape scale. So you can pause me again and add up and get those 6 different scale scores. All right, so hopefully you're ready to go. You've got your 6 scale scores. Look at them, and more than likely, you've got 1 or 2 of them that have significantly lower scores than the others. Lower means that you agree with it more. And so look for the scales that have the lowest scores. You more than likely will have, most people have 2. You might have 1, you might have 3, but most people have 2 that are like notably different from the rest. They're notably lower than the rest. Those are probably your predominant love styles. And then if you look, you'll probably see that there are 1 or 2 or 3 that are significantly higher than the others. And those are going to be the ones that do not represent your love style. That's not a common way for you to approach your love relationships. It's really common to have a couple that illustrate how you are and a couple that illustrate how you aren't, and then sort of the ones that are sort of in the middle. That's really normal and common. So looking them over, let me explain to you what the different love styles indicate and see if maybe you feel like this is a good measure of the type of love orientation you tend to have. So a person who is more associated with the Eros style, or what we might call erotic love, I put a picture from a romance novel cover because it's that sort of romantic love that you expect to have like the right chemistry, and that maybe there's one right person in the whole world for you, and maybe you believe in love at first sight. Those kinds of things. That falls under the Eros category. The Ludus category is much more of sort of love as a game to be played, and it's here for the enjoyment, or it's okay if I have multiple partners and I have to juggle them and things like that, because, we're all in here just for fun, and we're just talking anyway and stuff like that. In the Pragma category, we've got subject to contract, will you be my wife? Because pragmatic lovers are very pragmatic. They look at things like, would we be a good match? And would you fit in well in my career? And, do you respect my family? And these kinds of things. So pragmatic lovers are very much thinking about things rather than getting swept away like an erotic lover might do. The Storgic lover really looks at love as an extension of friendship, and that their romantic partner should be their best friend first and foremost. The Manic lover has a lot of physical symptoms that they might experience if they're upset about their romantic partner. They may be very clingy. They may be very dependent. They may get very, very upset if they feel like they're being slighted. And then the agape lover, according to Hendricks and Hendricks, who designed this scale, they said this is a type of love that we would only expect to see from parent to child. They didn't have any people in their norming set that scored highest on agape. That doesn't mean a person doesn't display agape towards a romantic partner, but it's not usually the primary love orientation that a person would have. Because agape is really that selfless level love, where those questions we're asking, you know, I would put my partner above myself, and it's more important that my partner be happy. That's the kind of thing that you would expect from a parent towards a child, and a lot less likely between romantic partners. So you've got these different kinds of love. Now, to tie it back to attachment styles, hopefully my description of the ludic lover reminded you of maybe the avoidant attachment type, where you've got a person who wants to keep people at arm's distance. They don't want to get their feelings hurt. So, hey, we're just playing a game. I didn't know this was getting serious. That's really common for a ludic lover to say something like that. And it's also kind of the motive of an avoidantly attached person, that they don't want to get all tangled up and have feelings get involved in this. Whereas the manic lover is a person who was probably an ambivalently attached toddler, who now as an adult, they want to be in a good, strong, reliable relationship, but they don't really know how. And so they end up overly clingy, overly suspicious, overly enmeshed with their romantic partner. And that can be a harmful place to be. So we've got these 6 different kinds of love styles. This is not the theory of love. This is a theory of love. And I think it's important for us to take this scale and see sort of how an avoidant and an avoidant and an ambivalently attached toddler might grow up and manifest some of those same symptoms in a romantic relationship. A person who has a secure attachment to their caregiver when they're a toddler may grow up to be any of the other types of love, right? Like these are sort of less bound up in attachment style, right? Like these are not necessarily harmful types of love. Like ludic and mania can be harmful. Romantic love, eros, is probably not going to be harmful. Pragmatic or storgic love, that's probably not going to be harmful. Agape, you could be a bit of a doormat maybe if you display too much agape towards the wrong person. Imagine you've got a ludic lover tied up with an agape lover. So you've got the agape person saying, well, I just want you to be happy and all things are fine as long as my partner's happy. And you've got the ludic lover going, well, I also want to be happy and I will take all the things that you're offering me. So you can imagine that there could be some pairings that could be unhealthy. But in general, we all sort of vary on these things. Maybe you're an erotic lover and then also pragmatic. You take the future into consideration while you're making your decisions, or maybe an erotic lover and storgic or something like that. And so, a lot of times we have a little bit of a combination and we're not just one style of lover. All right, well, let's go ahead and stop here. And in the next video, we'll come back and talk about another theory of love, which is Robert Sternberg's triangular theory of love.